When people talk about listening to their heart, it can sound a little vague, poetic maybe, but not exactly something you'd find in a science journal. And that's understandable because most of us were taught that the brain runs the show. The heart pumps blood. The brain makes decisions. That's the division of labor we grew up understanding. But science is telling a more interesting story than that now. Here's something most people have never heard. The heart has its own nervous system. Researchers in a field called neurocardiology have discovered that the heart contains around 40,000 neurons, which are nerve cells, the same kind found in your brain, enough that some scientists have started calling it the little brain in the heart. What this means is that the heart isn't just responding to signals from above. It's processing information on its own. It can sense, feel, learn, and remember independently of the brain in your skull. And here's the part that really surprised me. There are more nerve pathways running from the heart to the brain than the other way around. The heart is constantly sending information upward, influencing how we feel, how we perceive things, and even how we think. So it's less of a pump taking orders and more of a conversation. And quite often, the heart is the one leading it. A research organization called the Heart Math Institute has been studying this relationship for decades. And one of the things they found is that the heart produces a measurable electromagnetic field, one that actually changes depending on your emotional state. When you're stressed or overwhelmed, your heart rhythm becomes irregular and jagged. You're in a state of genuine gratitude or compassion, something shifts. The rhythm becomes smoother, more ordered. Scientists call this state coherence. And coherence isn't just a nicer feeling. In this state, the heart and the brain start working in greater harmony. Your thinking becomes clearer, emotions feel more stable, and there's a certain quality of calm that isn't passive. It's actually quite alert. This is one of the main reasons why certain practices, like slowing down, breathing, and bringing your attention to your heart, aren't just relaxation techniques. They're changing something measurably in your physiology. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. There's a growing body of research suggesting that the body, including the heart, can begin responding to information before the brain has consciously registered it. In certain studies, physiological signals shift in moments just before a person is even aware of a stimulus. The heart, it seems, may be processing information in a way that's faster, or at least different, from conscious thought. I want to be careful how I say this because it's easy to overstate it, and this isn't about predicting the future. But it does suggest that perception is happening at multiple levels simultaneously, and that what we call intuition may not be vague or unreliable at all. It may be a genuine form of intelligence, one that most of us were simply never taught to notice. Understanding this is one thing, and actually accessing it is another. Because the signals of the heart are often subtle, they're quiet. And in a world full of noise, mental chatter, other people's opinions, the relentless pull of screens and information, those signals are easy to miss. Most people aren't taught how to tune in to what the heart is communicating. It's not something that tends to come up in school or in our families for most of us. So that's what Dialogues with Your Heart is designed to help with. Not is designed to help with. not a concept to understand, but it introduces a practice to develop. You learn how to settle the mental noise, bring your attention to the heart, and ask questions in a way that actually invites a response. And perhaps more importantly, you learn to tell the difference between thoughts dressed up as feelings and something that comes from a deeper, more coherent place. What people tend to notice over time is that this gets easier. The signal becomes clearer from your heart. Decisions start to feel more aligned, not because your life becomes simpler, but because you're navigating with more of yourself. You do less second guessing and spend less time going in circles. You get more of a sense that you can trust what you're hearing because you've learned how to listen. The heart has its own language, and it turns out it's been communicating with you all along. If you want to explore this further, the link to Dialogues with Your Heart is below.